If Johnson City approves the plan tonight, Milliken would receive a total of $1.2 million for the expansion. Make sure you turn out the lights and hide in a place where you will not be visible. Officials with the Carter County Rescue Squad say you can enjoy the beautiful snow as long as you're dressed properly. What all is involved in bringing a buffalo here? I assume you don't just stick it in the trunk of your car and drive it down, so no, how do you get one? I went through the minutes from each of last year's SGA meetings and found no mention of the mold. Brick artist Jay Cheddar tells me that he glued the bricks to the outside of a fiberglass center. This is the letter the council sent to President Trump outlining why it wanted to keep the DACA program. Those in the race say Wandale's an important fixture of the community. While at the back-to-school bash, students have the opportunity to get more information about school, such as the official school calendar and their school supply list. It's now been a year and a half since minor league baseball sent a letter to Elizabethton's mayor telling him the Twins baseball stadium did not meet its minimum requirements.
We've fallen behind as a city in maintaining that facility.
Elizabethton plans to use $1.5 million in bonds to fund renovations to the clubhouse area and stadium seating. The locker room is too small to meet minor league regulations.
The one thing that the city of Elizabethton has to do is we have to make improvements to the minor league clubhouse facility that we operate. And if we don't do that, then you know the future minor league baseball really is in jeopardy here.
And that is a real threat. The Minnesota Twins have only agreed to stay for one more year. With the renovations, Alexander expects them to stay longer. The Twins have been a fixture in Elizabethton for 43 years, and Richard Barker wants to keep them around. His grandfather, Joe O'Brien, was instrumental in bringing the team to town. Barker served in the task force that looked at renovating facilities. He's donating $28,000 to help.
The program needed a little bit of a jump start because we've been talking and talking and talking.
Alexander says that delay was due to uncertainty with the Twins. The Minnesota Twins had originally agreed to fund a third of the project, but later they took back the offer. Alexander will ask the Twins again to help now that the city is moving forward.
And it would make the project go much smoother and be a much better project.
The City Council will hold a vote on the money August 10th. Getting the facts right in Elizabethton, Caleb Perhne, News 5, WCYB. Hannah Morgan has found her tires slashed 3 times on campus in the past year.
I had a meeting with Tony Jones and Britt Nipper about it, and that's when I found out that the cameras don't work. There's no security. There wasn't any security back here at all.
Morgan says she was given a pass to park in the resident director spot after the second time her tires were slashed. She returned to her normal spot behind Hart Hall the next semester. Then it happened again.
Of course I was upset because I didn't know what I'd done to somebody to make them so mad that they felt the need to slash my tires.
Morgan says she was told cameras in the parking lot were still not functional.
It was very frustrating that it continued to be an issue after the many times it happened. And each one was 6 months apart, so it's not like they didn't have time to install the cameras.
Brent Nipper, Director of Property and Risk Management, was unable to discuss Morgan's situation due to privacy concerns. He did say cameras have been considered for a while.
It's not something that you want to rush into. You want to make sure to take the appropriate amount of time to review procedures and look at ways that you can incorporate security cameras into that.
The new cameras focus on outdoor areas, particularly parking lots. Nipper says Milliken has a very low crime rate. He says most incidents happen around parking lots.
We have had a few occasions of vandalism in our parking lots, so that was a logical place to start.
Camera footage can be viewed live, but will mainly be used as a record when incidents like Morgan's do occur. She's glad the new cameras are operational.
I just think it's appreciated, but it did take a long time.
Nipper says more cameras may be considered in the future. For now, they're working out the best angles for each one. Caleb Perhne, Stampede TV. Josh Wandale was diagnosed with ALS in June 2013. Now, just more than 4 years later, Wandale is wheelchair-bound, with a feeding tube and a breathing tube. Wandale hasn't spoken for more than a year, communicating by typing on a tablet by moving his eyes.
ALS, as you can see, takes away a lot of my abilities. In spite of that, God has given me a peace that is beyond explanation. I don't ever worry about a cure because I know the worst thing this disease can do to me is kill me.
You would think that this would be a sad story, but Wandale doesn't want it that way. You still often see a smile on his face. He's been spreading a message of faith over fear.
Faith over fear means to me that God has promised to never leave or forsake us, so what do we have to fear? He has defeated death, so there is no fear of that.
Wandale loves running, so the community has come to support him and his message through an annual race. The 5th annual race for Wandale was held last weekend to raise money for his medical expenses. His uncle Kelly Gagley says they couldn't do it without the support.
Everything you get, the equipment you get is astronomical, and you have to get it. I mean, his chair, he's driving a $50,000 chair, more than most people's vehicles.
The race includes a competition, the only certified 3K in Tennessee, and a fun run and walk.
Those in the race say Wandale's an important fixture of the community.
As a principal, kids loved him, they still do, and he has this great spirit, gives back to the community, and allows us to give back to him.
He lifts us all up and lets us know that we can overcome anything that stands in our way if we just have faith in the Lord.
Wandale says having ALS has given him a platform to share his faith.
It's really hard to be around people that feel sorry for me, or worse, verbalize it. Sure, I may be more full of love, more tolerant, and more at peace than I ever was, but you shouldn't be saddened by that. Instead, celebrate it with me.
And his uncle says ALS was not the start of his faith over fear journey. It's who Wandale is.
He didn't get ALS and become a good person. He was a good person before he got ALS.
In Elizabethton, Caleb Perhne, Stampede TV. A shooting on campus. It's something we hope will never happen. But it seems to be happening more and more often. We asked questions and discovered what you should do if it ever occurs here.
You could have 22 city officers in that vicinity within 10 minutes.
Now guidelines are posted in every building. It's potentially life-saving information because we're in this together. We're Stampede TV, Milligan's student-operated news source.